Welcome back to the Sweat. Final block of the show. We saved the best for last with our golf gurus,
Gorgeous
DraftKings
golf
contributors,
gurus.
gorgeous golf gurus, Reid, Fowler, and Geoff Ulrich. They are here for PGA high or low. So, are the following odds too high, aka too long, or too low, aka too short, for this week's AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-AM?
This is the first time we've had these two together on our air since the meltdown of Will Zalatoris over the weekend, and Luke List rising up and winning his first tournament on PGA Tour at the young, ripe age of 37.
80-1 winner, Luke List.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Just wanted to throw that out.
Reid,
There's things I cannot say on air that I wish to, that I've shared with you guys personally, but I digress. We only got 8 minutes left.
okay, sounds good, man. I'll just tweet out screen grabs of our tech conversation.
Okay. Patrick Cantlay is the favorite at plus 700. T3 last season, T9 at American Express. What do we think about these odds, Geoff?
Patrick Cantlay is no Luke List, but he is deserving of being the favorite this week. I'm almost tempted to say these are almost too high for Patrick Cantlay. That's kind of the high regard that I have him in right now. And it really comes down to strength of field, right? You look at this field, after Cantlay and Berger, things get bleak fast. You've got an out-of-form Jordan Spieth who was in the hospital last week because of sickness. Will Zalatoris, who can't putt on Poa greens, obviously. And then you've got Justin Rose and Jason Day backing up the 2,000 range. I feel like Cantlay should be plus 500 this week. I don't know, man. I don't even think it's a bad idea to grab a piece of Berger or Cantlay because this field is so weak. So he's the deserving favorite. He's not someone I'm going to bet just because I'm always looking for those scrubs in the 40,000 or 4,000 range and above. But Cantlay is the cream of the crop, finished runner, or I think third here last year, and certainly we'll be looking at this as a good spot to grab a win.
All right, Reid, plus 700 for Patrick Cantlay. How do we feel about it?
Yeah, I'm going to share the same sentiment with Geoff. Not going to take too long on this. And this is a narrative-based play, too. This is kind of where he kind of turned his career around. This is where he got injured. And so there's some sentimental value for a guy like Cantlay who wants to win this tournament. He loves this type of golf. We saw guys like Jon Rahm a couple of weeks ago at the Amex not win, right? And that's kind of the worry about that with short odds, that this type of tournament, this type of format is a little bit wonky, but I'm with Geoff here.
All right, let's go Justin Rose, plus 2,000. Reid. Too long, too short?
I think those are too short. Look, Justin Rose, everybody's betting Justin Rose. I am not one of them. I do like Justin Rose. I think he's going to have some sort of comeback this season, resurgence from what he did last year. But you take a look at, like Geoff talked about, some of the guys in that similar range. The stats point to him being the guy that should win this tournament. But at the same time, in the same vein, why not go deeper in odds? Matt Fitzpatrick is someone that I'll talk about in a little bit. He hasn't played yet, but he's 25th in the world, and he's deeper than a guy like Justin Rose. Jason Day, is another one that a lot of people like. I'm not sure that these guys who were, 4 times the odds last week and now get a huge bump up because the field's not as strong is where the value is. Could they win? Sure. This is the type of course that these guys can win, but there's guys a little bit further down the board, like I'm teasing a little bit, that we'll get to in a little bit. So I'm going to say this is too high.
All right, Geoff, you on the same page?
Yeah, Justin Rose is getting a ton of heat this week. He played well last week. He's got a good record at Pebble. He's in contention in the U.S. Open in 2019. He's a good player, so I guess we shouldn't be shocked that people are on him. But it's gotten to the point where plus 2,000. There's no value or anything here. Reid's already mentioned that there's players at bigger odds here and very similar. A guy like Matthew Fitzpatrick is the perfect example, I think, to compare him with Justin Rose. If you had said betting Justin Rose plus 2,000 in a golf tournament 6 months ago, people would have laughed you off the face of the planet. So I'm not sure why everyone's excited to pile on him here. He is playing well. It's a good setup, but the odds just aren't big enough.
All right, Seamus Power plus 2,200. This dude had a solid January. T3 at the Sony Open, T14 at the American Express. So Geoff, how do we feel about plus 2,200?
He is pressing the max power button every week. This guy just brings it. I still think that the odds here aren't quite what you want for Seamus Power. He's never finished in the top 10 here. He has played Pebble Beach 4 times. He's doing everything well. What worries me, I think, this week is his approach game isn't quite as consistent as some of the other top players. And you really need to just fire it up with the irons at Pebble Beach because the greens are so small here. And we've just never really seen Power, max out, so to speak, on the greens at Pebble Beach. So I think he's a fine fade candidate. I'd actually rather go to Cameron Tringali, who has a better record here, is coming off a nice week. He's a little bit bigger in the odds of plus 2,500 there too, is Tringali.
All right, Reid, what do we think?
Yeah, this actually is someone that I'm not worried about if his number is there, right? It's just Seamus Power at what it is. It's someone that has been in form. And look, you kind of look at the last few weeks. Yeah, I think he went a little bit too much gung ho, right, in terms of his season. So maybe there was some fatigue. But at plus 2,200 for a guy who's in form at this type of course, I don't mind it at all. I'm much more inclined to bet Seamus as opposed to Justin Rose because he's someone that I feel is gaining traction as he gets closer and closer to these tournaments that he does like. Yes, the approach does scare me a touch. And we saw him, though, at the Amex a couple of weeks ago, right, Geoff, where he played fairly well. He just had some rounds where it was a little bit wonky. But he should be used to this format. So I'm not too worried about this. I don't think it's too short of odds. I don't mind it.
It is a little crazy. I mean, he's playing well. But, like, to think that we're betting Seamus Power now in a PGA event at plus 2,200, if you had said that a year ago, again, I mean, this dude didn't even have a tour card a year ago. I mean, it's crazy the ups and downs on the PGA Tour.
Okay, let's go Maverick Mattneely here, plus 2,500. Has a pretty good track record here at the Pebble, Reid.
Yes, at the Pebble Beach, Emerson has a
Pebble
very
Beach.
good record here. Look, and here's another one, right? That is just getting so much pub right now. He's getting so much traction in the market. 20 plus 2,500. Look, he was in the 50s or 60s last week. And now you see the decrease, and he had a bad round 4. His final round on Saturday was bad, but he finished birdie eagle on the 17th and 18th hole on Saturday to finish. So maybe there's some good vibes. Again, Mattneely at plus 2,500. There's that range of plus 4,000. I give you one name that's a little bit above that at plus 6,000 at Matt Kuchar. He's someone that I feel is much more ready to win this type of tournament because Mattneely can set up well in other tournaments. There are a couple of guys out there, there are guys out there that circle tournaments that say we need to win this. Like a Kevin Kisner needs to win Wyndham, RBC, and they're going to put much more emphasis in practicing their game to win those tournaments as opposed to a guy like Mattneely. So again, I like it. I like the player, but there's guys in that 40 to 70 range that I'm much more inclined to bet.
All right, well, producer Slates just sent me this tweet here from Justin Ray. So, Mattneely, 99 under par in PGA Tour events in California the last 3 seasons. Yeah. That's tied with Cantlay for best in that. He's a Stanford guy, so he feels comfortable out there for sure. 4 of his 5 best PGA Tour finishes, Geoff, have come in California, finishing T5, second last 2 years at Pebble Beach.
I mean, if you're just going to drop all the info, I'll just sit here and listen.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm an analyst, too.
He grew up playing the posh Western United States courses, so it's not a shock that he has success here. He almost won in Napa Valley too over the fall. I don't really have that much interest in betting anyone in this event at plus 2,500 or under. This is a volatile event. You're playing with amateurs. The rounds are 6 hours. You're rotating courses. Wind and weather can come into effect at Pebble Beach. I think Maverick Mattneely is going to be a good young player. He really didn't win at a very high rate on the Korn Ferry Tour, though. And we already saw him blow a lead. He blew that lead in Napa Valley, and we really should have closed out that tournament. So I don't have enough confidence in him at plus 2,500. I think he will get there eventually, but I'm not betting him this week. A player to keep an eye on. When he gets back in the plus 5,000 range, we'll talk again.
A DFS side, he's fine because he's under $10,000. He might be shocked, but I think you want to play him there over betting him.
All right, fellas, time for just one more. Slate approved pick time. So who wins, Geoff?
Again, I mean, I think this is an event where you target guys in the $5,000, $6,000, even $8,000 range. I'm going to go with Michael Thompson. I mean, you look at him at plus 6,500. He's played extremely well to start the year. T5 at the Sony. This guy can get it done on the greens. He's a great putter. Around the green game has been hot, too. He's a good West Coast player. Finished T2 at the Olympic Club in 2012 U.S. Open. I think a guy like that wins. I'm just going to make Michael Thompson my pick.
Wow. Reid, who wins?
Yeah, the bearded wonder. I already mentioned Matt Kuchar. I like him, but here's another one. Ches Reid. You talk about success at this course, at the Pro-Am. The last 4 years, he's played extremely well. 2019, the U.S. Open was here. He finished 3rd. He's got to do better in every other category other than approach. But like Geoff mentioned, approach is key here, and he's gained in the last 13 of 15 events in approach. Give me Ches.